Dear viewers, today we are going to learn about classical conditioning theory of learning. Dear viewers, please watch the entire video. The video will be followed by MCQs based on the presentation. Let us explore the classical conditioning theory. The theory of classical conditioning was proposed by Ivan Pavlov, a Russian physiologist, in the early 20th century. Pavlov's experiments with dogs laid the foundation for understanding how organisms learn to associate one stimulus with another. This theory is a cornerstone of behavioral psychology and explains learning as a process of association. Classical conditioning provides valuable insights into how associations influence behavior and learning. Classical conditioning involves learning through association. A neutral stimulus becomes associated with a naturally occurring stimulus, leading to a learned response. Key terms and their roles: 1. Unconditioned stimulus. UCS, a stimulus that naturally and automatically triggers a response without prior learning. Example: the presentation of food to a dog. 2. Unconditioned response. UCR, the natural, unlearned reaction to the UCS. Example: salivation in response to food. 3. Neutral stimulus. NS, a stimulus that initially does not trigger any specific response. Example: the sound of a bell before conditioning. 4. Conditioned stimulus. CA is the previously neutral stimulus that, after being paired with the UCS, triggers a learned response. Example: the bell after conditioning. 5. Conditioned response. CR, the learned response to the conditioned stimulus. Example: salivation when hearing the bell, even in the absence of food. Pavlov's experiment. Pavlov's research was conducted while studying the digestive system of dogs. He observed that the dogs began salivating not only when food was presented but also when they heard footsteps or saw the laboratory assistant bringing food. This led Pavlov to explore the phenomenon systematically. Steps in Pavlov's experiment: 1. Before conditioning, food, UCS, naturally causes salivation, UCR. The bell, NS, produces no response initially. 2. During conditioning, the bell, NS, is paired repeatedly with the food, UCS. Over time, the dog begins to associate the bell with food. 3. After conditioning, the bell, CAs, alone now triggers salivation, CR, even in the absence of food. This experiment demonstrated that a neutral stimulus, through association, could elicit a response similar to that produced by a natural stimulus. Principles of classical conditioning. 1. Acquisition, the process of learning the association between the neutral stimulus and the unconditioned stimulus. 2. Extinction, the weakening of the conditioned response when the conditioned stimulus is repeatedly presented without the unconditioned stimulus. 3. Spontaneous recovery, the reappearance of a conditioned response after a pause following extinction. 4. Generalization, the tendency to respond to stimuli that are similar to the conditioned stimulus. 5. Discrimination, the ability to distinguish between the conditioned stimulus and other stimuli that do not signal the unconditioned stimulus. Educational implications of classical conditioning. Classical conditioning has significant implications for education and teaching practices. It helps in understanding how learning environments and experiences shape student behavior. 1. Creating a positive learning environment. Association with positive emotions. Teachers can use classical conditioning to associate the classroom and learning activities with positive feelings. For example, using praise or rewards when students perform well fosters a love for learning. 2. Overcoming fear and anxiety. Students may develop anxiety or fear towards certain subjects or tasks. Through classical conditioning, teachers can help students associate these tasks with positive experiences, reducing fear. 3. Habit formation. Repeatedly associating specific cues with desirable behaviors can help in forming good habits, such as regular study routines or punctuality. 4. Addressing behavioral issues. Unwanted behaviors can be unconditioned by pairing them with negative consequences, extinction, or replaced with desirable behaviors using positive associations. 5. Developing classroom discipline. Teachers can establish routines and classroom norms by associating certain cues, like a bell or a hand signal, with desired actions, such as maintaining silence or paying attention. 6. Encouraging participation. Associating active participation in discussions or activities with rewards or recognition can motivate students to engage more in the classroom. Examples in practical education. 1. Reducing test anxiety. Pairing test preparation with relaxing activities or positive affirmations helps students associate exams with confidence rather than fear. 2. Motivating participation. Providing rewards like stickers, verbal praise, or extra credit can condition students to associate participation with positive outcomes. 3. Developing reading habits. Associating bedtime with reading by creating a cozy, pleasant reading environment fosters lifelong reading habits. Dear viewers, let us solve some important multiple choice questions from the presentation. 1. In Pavlov's experiment, what was the unconditioned stimulus, UCS? A. Bell. B. Food. C. Salivation. D. Dog. Answer: B. Food. 2. What is the natural, unlearned response to the unconditioned stimulus called? A. Conditioned response, CR. B. Neutral response, NR. C. Unconditioned response, UCR. D. Stimulus response, SR. Answer: C. Unconditioned response, UCR. 3. After conditioning, the bell becomes which type of stimulus? A. Unconditioned stimulus. B. Conditioned stimulus. C. Neutral stimulus. D. Reinforcing stimulus. Answer: B. Conditioned stimulus. 4. What principle explains the reappearance of a conditioned response after a rest period? A. Extinction. B. Spontaneous recovery. C. Generalization. D. Discrimination. Answer: B. Spontaneous recovery. 5. What happens during the extinction phase of classical conditioning? A. The conditioned response strengthens. B. The conditioned stimulus loses its effect. C. A new association is formed. D. The unconditioned response weakens. Answer: B. The conditioned stimulus loses its effect. 6. What is the process of distinguishing between the conditioned stimulus and other stimuli called? A. Generalization. B. Discrimination. C. Extinction. D. Acquisition. Answer: B. Discrimination. 7. Which of the following is a key characteristic of classical conditioning? A. Involves voluntary behavior. B. Involves reinforcement and punishment. C. Involves association of stimuli. D. Focuses on cognitive processes. Answer: C. Involves association of stimuli. 8. What does acquisition refer to in classical conditioning? A. The reappearance of a response. B. The initial phase of learning. C. The weakening of a response. D. Differentiating between stimuli. Answer: B. The initial phase of learning. 9. Pavlov's theory is most effective in explaining A. Voluntary actions. B. Involuntary behaviors. C. Problem-solving skills. D. Cognitive development. Answer: B. Involuntary behaviors. 10. What does habit formation in learning involve according to classical conditioning? A. Repeated association of cues and actions. B. Punishment for negative behavior. C. Rewarding creativity. D. Allowing spontaneous learning. Answer A. Repeated association of cues and actions. 11. In education, extinction can be used to A. Strengthen unwanted behaviors. B. Create new learning habits. C. Eliminate undesirable behaviors. D. Promote creativity. Answer C. Eliminate undesirable behaviors. 12. A practical example of classical conditioning in the classroom is A. Encouraging rote learning. B. Pairing homework with rewards. C. Teaching through storytelling. D. Promoting critical thinking. Answer B. Pairing homework with rewards. 13. Classical conditioning may lead to A. Increased critical thinking. B. Passive learning habits. C. Enhanced problem-solving skills. D. Voluntary behavioral changes. Answer B. Passive learning habits. 14. The major limitation of classical conditioning in education is A. Its emphasis on cognitive learning. B. Its inability to explain voluntary behavior. C. Its focus on classroom discipline. D. Its lack of theoretical basis. Answer B. Its inability to explain voluntary behavior. 15. Which strategy aligns with classical conditioning to reduce classroom fear? A. Pairing stressful activities with relaxation techniques. B. Encouraging group discussions. C. Assigning individual tasks. D. Promoting competitive behavior. Answer A. Pairing stressful activities with relaxation techniques. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Education and Teacher Education.